Carbs, and carbs once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Today, I'm back with the Success Saturday video series, where here we discuss exactly how to be successful while on the 23% Challenge meal plan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 23% Nation, today we're going to answer a very popular question, and that is, are fat vegans eating way too many carbs? Well, guys, if you want to know the answer to that question, then please listen and watch on. All right, as always, I have objectives, 2 to be exact. Number 1 is Coach D's tip. This is my short-term objective, meaning I have information that I need to convey to you. Now, my second objective is rather long-term, and that is to save 1 million animals. That's right, guys. Coach D is looking to save animals. So if you want to find out which animals and how, please listen and watch on. All right, first things first. Objective number 1, Coach D's tip. Today, guys, we're talking about, you got it, fat vegans. Now, please understand something. My intention today is not to ridicule, not to make fun or poke fun. It's not to make anyone angry. I'm not here to offend anybody. As a matter of fact, I'm here to educate, motivate, and yes, entertain with a smile. All right, so first things first, let's define the term fat, shall we? Now, first, I want to bring something to your attention, that there are different ways in which we can gauge how much body fat the body is actually carrying, right? One of those ways is through the body mass index, which is basically a measurement of your height and your weight. And basically, that lets you know how healthy or how unhealthy you are. Now, if you have a BMI reading of 25.0 to 29.9, then technically you're considered to be overweight. If you have a BMI of 30.0 or higher, then you are considered to be obese. Now, keep something in mind. When we talk about BMI, body mass index, it does not take into consideration your activity level, your age, or even your sex, right? So basically, it's only taking into consideration how tall you are and how much you weigh. Next up, let's talk about waist circumference. Now, guys, when we talk about waist circumference, we're not talking about your pant size. Really, what we're talking about is you taking a tape measure and actually measuring the circumference of your waist, specifically at the navel level, or we can use the word belly button. Ladies, if you have a waist circumference that measures 35 inches or more, then unfortunately you are at risk for the big 4, meaning heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, and let's not forget about obesity itself. Fellas, if you have a waist circumference that measures 40 inches or greater, then you are also at risk for the big 4. And our third way to define body fat is called body fat percentage. Basically, this measures how much of your body weight is actually fat. Ladies, if you have a body fat percentage of 32% or greater, then you are considered to be obese. Gentlemen, if your body fat percentage is 26% or greater, then you are also considered obese. Now, some of us may be a little turned off by these numbers. Some of us may be a little offended by these numbers. And guys, listen, I get it. Now, on the other hand, some of us may be quite excited about these numbers. Some of us may not be in the know. Now, guys, if you don't know what your body mass index is, if you don't know what your waist circumference is, or if you don't know what your body fat percentage is, don't fret, don't worry, don't stress. It's a-okay. All you have to do is click on the description box. I'm giving you direct links to videos and also online calculators that'll help you determine your BMI, your waist circumference, as well as your body fat percentage. So if you're not in the know, then let's go ahead and get in the know, right? After all, we are talking about fat vegans. All right, now that we've determined the word fat, let's now define the word vegan. Now, back in 1949, a wonderful woman by the name of Leslie Cross, she actually founded the Vegan Society. And in doing so, she came up with a definition. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Vegan was defined as to seek an end to the use of animals by man or woman for food, commodities, work, hunting, vivisection, and by all other uses. Now, very quickly, when we talk about the word vivisection, what we're talking about is using animals for medical and or scientific research. Now, here's something that I really want to hone in on, is that in the original definition for the term vegan, it was never ever mentioned that if you were a vegan, that you were somehow skinny, that you were lean, that you were slim, or that you were overall healthy. That's right. Remember, in the original meaning for the term vegan, it was all about protecting animal rights. Later on, it was determined that yes, being vegan is not only good for animals, but it does amazing things for the human body. And yes, it also helps to save good old planet Earth. So guys, there are lots of different reasons why people go vegan, right? It's not always to look and be slim or thin or lean or healthy. So now that we've defined the word fat, and now that we've defined the word vegan, let's now dive just a little deeper. All right, first things first, we have to determine what the problem is. After all, we are here to help out those fat vegans, the unhealthy vegans, the chubby vegans, the obese vegans, right? Guys, here is the root of the problem. Fat vegans are consuming way too many carbohydrates. Now, where do these carbohydrates come from? Well, from several different sources. So let's go ahead and discuss them one by one. So first up are vegan desserts. Now, 23% nation, I am definitely guilty of eating vegan desserts. Whole Foods has vegan oatmeal raisin cookies. They have vegan chocolate chip cookies. And then I also know of other restaurants that sell vegan cinnamon rolls, vegan brownies, vegan donuts. I mean, you name it, they have it, right? Also, we like to drink coffee drinks, and we also love our lattes. Another thing is that fat vegans absolutely love white bread, white pasta, white rice, white sugar, and white flour. Now notice that I said the word white in front of all of those different types of foods, right? Also, fat vegans, unhealthy vegans, love canned fruits. We also enjoy drinking sodas, juices, bottled and store-bought smoothies. Now guys, if you haven't caught on yet, generally speaking, this is what most people eat and drink, right? Not excluding fat vegans only. Also, unhealthy vegans, fat vegans, we love mom's cooking, don't we? Yes. So mom is probably still making pancakes, French toast, and even though she's not making it, she's just maybe putting it together, right? Serving us lots and lots of breakfast cereals. So for those of you who love Fruit Loops and Cheerios and Apple Jacks, it may be vegan, but what you have to understand is that those breakfast cereals, that pancakes and those French toasts, they are loaded with carbohydrates. Next, a great source of Unhealthy carbohydrates are going to be your vending machine foods. That's right, guys, the potato chips, the candy bars, and let's not forget about the honey buns. And last but not least, a lot of us overweight vegans, we absolutely love vegan restaurant food, right? And let's not forget about takeout food and, of course, delivery food. Ladies and gentlemen, my unhealthy, fat, obese vegans, guys, these are all excellent and good sources of carbohydrates. So now that we've identified the problem, let's now focus on the solution. But first, before we talk about the solution, guys, I thought it would be a good idea to share with you some carb facts, not carb facts, but carb facts. Carb meaning carbohydrate facts. So let's dive even deeper than we have ever dug before. So first things first, ladies and gentlemen, we need to understand something. And this is me diving a little bit into science, me diving a little bit into chemistry, and even a little bit of biochemistry, right? Carbohydrates originate from plants. And you want to know how and you want to know why? It's simply because plants are unique. They have the ability to photosynthesize. Now, maybe you've heard of this word before, maybe you haven't. Well, guys, if you've never heard of the process of photosynthesis before, all it simply means is that, yes, plants are able to make their own food. Unlike you and I, we actually have to eat food in order to sustain life. Plants, on the other hand, all they need is a little bit of sunlight, a little bit of water, and yes, good old carbon dioxide that comes from yours truly, right? And you know what they're able to produce? Their own food in the form of glucose. And on top of that, a byproduct of photosynthesis is good old oxygen. So fat vegans, unhealthy vegans, all vegans and all people, here's what you need to understand. This is how humans are dependent on plants. That's right. We give them the carbon dioxide, and in return, they provide us with glucose and oxygen. Isn't that an amazing relationship? Now, here's something else that we need to understand when it comes to carb facts, is that once the glucose is made by the plant and we actually eat the plant, right? Technically, we're consuming energy in the form of 4 kilocalories per gram. Now, once that glucose is taken inside the body, well, quite a few different things can happen. Number one, the body can immediately use that glucose, specifically your muscles and or your brain. Now, for the glucose that is not immediately used, it's actually stored. That's right. So guys, you can thank your liver and also your skeletal muscle for storing glucose as glycogen. Basically, glycogen is a stored form of glucose that the body needs for energy sources. And last but not least, when we overdo the carbohydrate intake, right? When we're eating a lot of cake, a lot of cookies, pies and donuts and potato chips, and lots of pizza and food like that, well, guys, we're overloading the body with glucose, which, as we already know, stores it in the form of glycogen. But guys, once your glycogen stores are filled, then the body has no other choice but to convert it into body fat. Now, let's talk about classifying carbohydrates. All right. So there are 2 different ways in which we today are going to classify our carbohydrates. The first way is we can name them as refined, or we can use the word processed versus unrefined. Now, when we talk about refined or processed carbohydrates, those generally are considered to be unhealthy, versus the unrefined carbohydrates, generally speaking, those are considered to be healthy. Now, here's the reason why unrefined processed carbohydrates are unhealthy, is that they have to undergo a lot of processing, meaning a lot of the fiber has been removed. And when you remove fiber, you are removing something very, very precious and something very, very healthy, to the point where only the starch is left over. So guys, when you consume refined, processed carbohydrates, you're only getting the starch. You're not going to get any fiber, definitely no protein, and it's also going to be very low in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and other phytonutrients. Now, because it's lacking all of these precious essential nutrients, ladies and gentlemen, when you have a diet that is rich in processed carbohydrates, then yes, you are at risk for the big four, which once again, heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. Now let's talk about our unrefined carbohydrates, which are the healthy carbohydrates. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, they do contain starch, which is the good stuff. But on top of that, they also contain fiber, which I consider nature's plumber. They contain protein, water, unsaturated healthy fats, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and yes, phytonutrients. Now, there is another way in which we can categorize our carbohydrates. We can say that some are complex and we can say that some are simple. Notice the color difference. Complex is green, simple is red. Now, getting a little more into science, which I absolutely love, here's what you need to know, is that when we talk about simple and complex carbohydrates, really what we're talking about are monosaccharides, disaccharides, and yes, polysaccharides. Now, when it comes to the complex carbohydrates, really those are your polysaccharides. Now, to break it down a little more and to give it to you in layman's terms, basically, this is your starch, which mainly comes from your root vegetables such as potatoes and carrots. And then, of course, we're also talking about good old fiber, which once again, I like to refer to it as nature's plumber. Now, when we talk about our simple carbohydrates, essentially we're talking about the monosaccharides and the disaccharides. So allow me to give you a few examples of simple carbohydrates. Number one is high fructose corn syrup. Now, food manufacturers are kind of smart, but at the same time, they're kind of dumb. They were able to isolate this one particular monosaccharide called fructose and somehow make it even sweeter than it actually already is. Another example would be table sugar. Another example would be milk sugar. Now, some very good sources of simple carbohydrates are going to be juices, sodas, candy bars, and yes, even condiments. Particularly, we're talking about mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise, right? Guys, believe it or not, those condiments, and I'll even throw in salad dressings, believe it or not, they almost all contain either simple sugars, such as high fructose corn syrup, or maybe even sugar alcohols. Now, notice that in green, I put fruit sugar. Now, guys, yes, fruit is an amazing source of simple carbohydrates, namely fructose. But here's the primary difference between the sugar that's found in fruits versus the sugar that's found in all of these other processed carbohydrates. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever you consume fruit, but specifically fresh fruit, you're not only getting the glucose and the fructose, but guys, yes, you're also getting the fiber, you're also getting the vitamins and the minerals, the antioxidants, right? And also the other phytonutrients. So this is one of the reasons why you always want to eat fresh fruit, not canned fruit, and definitely not fruit that's sold in some type of plastic container. Now, I do need to make a clear distinction here, is that if you have a diet that is super duper high in simple carbohydrates, then yes, you are most certainly at risk for the big four, which I will repeat Once again, the big four are heart disease, cancer, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and I believe that's it. Maybe I left one out, not sure. But guys, on top of the big four, simple carbohydrates, but specifically simple processed carbohydrates, can also lead to constipation and acne, as well as any type of emotional distress. So, ladies and gentlemen, please pay close attention to the color schemes. If it's in green, it's good. If it's in red, it's not so good. So there you have it, guys. A few carb facts from me to you. All right. So now that we've identified the problem, the carb facts, and now let's focus on the solution. Number one, the biggest solution that you can do for yourself, my fat vegans, my unhealthy vegans, my obese vegans, is participate in the 23% challenge meal plan. Now, the number one reason why the meal plan is ideal for you is because it offers portion control. That's right. You get to determine how many calories, how many grams of carbs, fats, and proteins that go inside of your body for only 7 days. Here's another part of the solution. Ladies and gentlemen, to all of my fat vegans that are out there, you gotta eat more whole foods. That's right. So forget about the processed foods, forget about the canned foods. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to eat whole foods that are going to provide you with a lot of fiber, right? And also a lot of complex carbohydrates, which, by the way, are amazing for your health. Now, some examples of whole food complex carbohydrates are going to be your whole grains, such as oatmeal, quinoa, brown rice. Let's not forget about our legumes, meaning black beans, kidney beans, right? And what about your root vegetables? For all of us who love white potatoes, sweet potatoes, and carrots, right? Those are amazing. And also, something else that you may not consider are your herbs and spices, which are generally used for seasoning your whole grains and your legumes and also your root vegetables. Another part of the solution is to consume veggies and fruit in the morning. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say this. There is no mandate, there is no law that says you must consume breakfast foods for breakfast. Believe it or not, it's a-okay for you to eat vegetables and fruits in the morning, right? Now, a lot of you may kind of raise your eyebrow at that, and you may think, well, Coach D, that's not a good idea. Actually, guys, it's an amazing idea, and I'll tell you why. Fruits and vegetables are loaded with fiber. Fiber does one amazing thing. It causes you to feel fuller longer. That's right, guys. It's called satiety. Here's another part of the solution. Eat more fruit. But this is for my people out there that like to work out, right? So it's very possible that you can use fruit as a pre-workout snack. It'll give you that quick burst of energy. Also, you can use it as a post-workout snack. It'll help very quickly feed your muscles the glucose that they need, and it'll help reestablish your muscle glycogen stores. And or eat fruit as a dessert as opposed to the cake, the cookies, the brownies, and the donuts. Another solution is, going back to fruit once again, is to eat fresh fruit. Now here's the thing, guys. Whenever you eat fruit, you always want to eat the skin. Why? Well, because that's where the majority of the fiber is. Now, yes, I've talked about fiber ad nauseum, but I thought I'd give you just a little more information. Now, earlier, I said that fiber is nature's plumber, meaning it helps to keep your tubes clean, specifically your blood vessels clear of cholesterol and plaques. It also helps to keep your large intestine free of dangerous bacteria and also excess waste. But here's something that we don't quite know about fiber, is that it actually is extremely beneficial to our gut bacteria. Now, some people may term it our microbiome, right? But whatever the case may be, eating a lot of fiber serves as a prebiotic to our gut bacteria. Now, that's basically the bacteria that naturally resides inside of our gastrointestinal tract. And making sure that that bacteria is healthy does the body good. Specifically, it helps to strengthen your immune system. That's right. So guys, eating more fiber indirectly strengthens your immune system. Also, ladies and gentlemen, get into the habit of making your own smoothies. That's right. No longer do we need to go to Smoothie King and purchase those smoothies that are probably made with some type of syrup which contains high fructose corn syrup, right? Ladies and gentlemen, get into the habit of making your own smoothies. I always recommend at least 3 ingredients. Number 1, fruit. Number 2, vegetable. And number 3, throw in some type of nut and or seed. And then for your liquid, you can always use plain regular water, or if you want to add just a little bit of sweetness, I recommend coconut water. And last but not least, this is to my obese, fat, unhealthy vegans, right? Please remove yourself from temptation. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, guys, temptation comes in all different shapes and sizes and colors, right? So if you have people in your life that are maybe teasing you and poking fun at you and maybe trying to get you to eat things that you shouldn't be eating, remove yourself from those people. Also, guys, places, watch out when you go to different types of restaurants. I understand that, yes, you may be a vegan, but at the same time, you may be the type of vegan that's eating the white rice, the white pasta, and the white flour, right? And then also, remove yourself away from things that may lead to temptation, such as social media, such as the TV, such as your computer, right? So there you have it, guys. Several solutions to help our unhealthy vegans become healthy. All right, guys, it's now time to switch gears and let's now talk about Coach D's second objective, Coach D's long-term objective, which is to save 1 million animals. Recently, I came across an amazing website. It's called vegancalculator.com. Once again, vegancalculator.com. And here's what they have to say. They say that eating a 100% plant-based diet for 7 days saves 7 animals. That's right, guys. Only 7 days, you're saving 7 animals. Now, the question is, what types of animals are you looking to save, Coach D? Well, guys, listen up. So the first type of animal that I'm looking to save are those animals that we eat as food. That's right. So I'm talking about the cows, the pigs, the chickens, the goats, the lambs, the rabbits, right? Pretty much all those farm animals. And then what about the animals that live in our oceans? The shrimp, the crab, the lobster, and let's not forget about the fish. Now, the second type of animal that I'm looking to save are those animals whose natural habitats are destroyed due to the standard American diet, right? Now, recently, I watched a movie. It was called Cowspiracy. And in that movie, they basically say that animal agriculture is the biggest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, which cause global warming and climate change. They also say that animal agriculture contributes to air pollution, water pollution, ocean dead zones, species extinction, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, my objective with this whole 23% challenge meal plan is to not only improve your health, but as I've already stated, I'm looking to save animals. So guys, if you want to improve your health, you want to lose a little bit of weight, you want to become a healthy vegan as opposed to an unhealthy vegan, then please join me 7 days, no problem. 23% Nation, I need your help. I need the help of 145,000 people to join in on the 23% challenge meal plan. Now remember something, guys. The meal plan is all about portion control, right? And this should be especially interesting to my fat vegans that are out there. You want to lose weight? You want to get in shape? Ladies and gentlemen, try the 23% challenge meal plan. And remember something, it's only 7 days long. As a matter of fact, it's the 1st through the 7th of every single month. That's it, plain and simple. Now, a lot of you may say, all right, Coach D, I know I'm a fat vegan and I love animals. So you know what? I want to become healthy and I want to help save animals. Why? Because I love them. So yes, I want to help. Well, guys, here's the good news. I've actually teamed up with Fiverr.com. That's right, guys. It's called Fiverr.com. And now I officially have my own gig there. As a matter of fact, I will create a 7-day plant-based vegan meal plan specifically for you. Now, here's the thing. It's not like all those other vegan meal plans that are currently on the market. The 23% challenge meal plan is different. Why? For several reasons. Number one, it's customized, meaning you get to select the plant foods that you already know, the ones you already love, and the ones you already eat. On top of that, it's going to come with a health assessment, a nutrition report, and let's not forget about a good old workout plan. Now, you basically have two options. You can do the vegan lean or you can do the vegan bulk. Ultimately, the choice is yours. But this is one sure way for you to get healthy and help save animals. It's time for our question of the day, and this comes from yours truly and the rest of the 23% nation. We have inquiring minds, so we want to know, are fat vegans eating too many carbohydrates? Now, I believe I answered that question earlier in the video, so please write your answer in the comment box below. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. And please don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's hashtag eat more plants. And don't forget to drink more water while you're at it. As stated earlier, my name is Coach D. I'm signing out. Always remember to take care, God bless, and never ever forget that Coach D loves you.